जल्दी से चढ़ जाओ वरना गाड़ी फेल है जन्नती रहमत का फेल है जल्दी से चढ़ जाओ वरना गाड़ी फेल है आका दिल की रहमत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Dearest and most beloved and divine brothers and sisters in the concourse of humanity and the fraternity of religions, may the peace and may the blessings and the mercies of the Creator Lord of the worlds be with one and all here today. Please remember that you can tune in to the Electric Mosque Guyana on YouTube for this and many other programs which I encourage you to share, for as you share them, if it helps and inspires humanity, you benefit. And if they share, you still benefit. And if their friends and family share, you still benefit. It's like networking, the blessing of the Creator, Lord of the world. I decided to go very quickly into this presentation of the Electric Mosque's teachings of Islam, because I have a piece that I want to read here. A very inspiring story about many of us who get caught up in the world of want, the world of wealth, the world of achievement, the world of desires. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with wanting wealth. There is nothing wrong in being ambitious. It is nothing wrong if God blesses you or you've done the right things through His power and through your faculties to achieve good and wealth. It's how we behave. It's what we do. It was what was the intention and what could be the result. We all know the story of Steve Jobs, one of the richest men in the world, who founded the Apple dynasty and computers and had skyscrapers around the world, died at the age of 55, being sick, and lost it all. In the process, he had never used his wealth for humanity, and he regretted it. So today I wish to read to you, almost the entire program, a story from a millionaire doctor who is dying from cancer and who warns that money, nice things, bring no joy in the end. Millionaire doctor dying from cancer warns that money, nice things, bring no joy in the end. And here is he addressing some graduates while he's very sick and dying, and the professor who invited him must have had a reason for inviting him as he's dying. And he's addressing us, the gathering at a medical graduation. Hi, good morning to all of you. My voice is a bit hoarse, so please bear with me. I thought I will just introduce myself. My name is Richard. I'm a medical doctor, and I thought I'd just share some thoughts of my life. It's my pleasure to be invited by your professor. Hopefully, it can get you thinking about how, as you pursue this career in medicine, that you will understand my life and what I have achieved. Since young, I'm a typical product of today's society. Relatively successful product that society requires. From young, I came from a below average family. I was told by the media and people around me that happiness is about success. And that success is about being wealthy. With this mindset, I have always been extremely competitive since I was young. Not only do I need to go to the top school, I need to have success in all the fields. Uniform groups, track, everything. I needed to get trophies, needed to be successful. I needed to have Colors Award, National Colors Awards, everything. So I was highly competitive since young. This doctor who is dying is speaking. I went on to medical school, graduated as a doctor. Some of you may know that within this medical facility, ophthalmology is one of the most sought of specialties. So I went after that as well. I was given a traineeship in ophthalmology. I was given a research scholarship by NUS, that's the school, to develop lasers to treat the eye. So in the process, I was given 2 patients. In the process, I was given 2 medical patents. One for medical devices and another for the lasers. And you know what? All this academic achievement did not bring me any wealth. So once I completed my bond with MOH, whatever that means, that is service to maybe the Ministry of Health, I decided that this is taking too long. The training in eye surgery is just taking too long. And there's lots of money to be made in the private sector. So if you are aware, in the last few years, there is this rise in aesthetic medicine. I repeat, aesthetic medicine that makes you look good. Tons of money to be made there. So I decided, well, enough of staying in an institution like a hospital, it's time to leave. So I quit my training halfway and I went on to set up my aesthetic clinic in town, together with the surgery center. You know, the irony or fun of it or joke of it is that people do not make heroes of general practitioners or family physicians. These people who serve us all, they do not become heroes. They don't. They make heroes out of people who are rich and famous. Who do this? The people, the media. People who are not happy to have $20 to see a general practitioner. The same person that becomes paying $10,000 for a liposuction. That's right. They pay a regular doctor $20 as a consultation fee, but and they tremble and they're upset. But to get rid of some liposuction or some fat on their lips and their breasts or their body, they'll pay $10,000, $15,000 for a breast augmentation or to make a breast bigger, and so on and so forth. So it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Why do you want to go to a general practitioner? Or why do you want to be a general practitioner? Become an aesthetic physician. So instead of healing the sick and ill, I decided that I'll become a glorified beautician. So business was good. Very good. It started off with waiting for 1 week. People have to wait for a week. Then became 3 weeks, so much business. Then 1 month, people had to wait in line. Then 2 months. Then 3 months. I was overwhelmed. There was just too many patients. Vanities are fantastic business. People with vanities who want to fix their lip and their breasts and their butts. It's big business. I employed 1 doctor. I employed the 2nd doctor, the 3rd doctor, the 4th doctor. And within the 1st year, we're already raking in millions. Just the 1st year. But never is it enough, because I was so obsessed with it. I started to expand into Indonesia to get all the rich Indonesian tie-ties, and there's some very rich Indonesian people who wouldn't blink an eye to have a procedure done. So life was really good. So what do I do with the spare cash? How do I spend my weekends? Typically, I will have car club gatherings. I take out my track car. With spare cash, I got myself a track car. We have car club gatherings. We'll go up to Sepang in Malaysia. We'll go for car racing. And it was my life. With all the spare cash, what do? I get myself a Ferrari. At that time, the 458 was down. It's just a Spider convertible 430 that I had. This is a friend of mine, a schoolmate, who is a forex trader, foreign exchange trader. So he got a red one. He was wanting all along a red one. I was getting the silver one. So what do after getting a car? It's time to buy a house. To build our own bungalows. So we go around looking for a land to build our own bungalows. We went around hunting. So how do I live my life? Well, we think we have to mix around with the rich and the famous. This is one of the Miss Universe. So we hang around with the beautiful, the rich and the famous. This, by the way, is an internet founder. He's introducing us to his friends. I don't have the photographs. But imagine, this is an internet founder. So this is how we spend our lives. With dining and all the restaurants and all the Michelin chefs, you know, and the rich and the famous and the most beautiful woman in the world. So I reached a point in life that I got everything for my life. I was at the pinnacle of my career. And oh, that's me 1 year in the gym. Imagine next to me a photograph with a very good looking guy, handsome, Malaysian kind of Oriental Chinese looking person. Don't know if my technician might edit some beautiful photograph of this muscular, nice Oriental looking man to imagine him. I would last. Well, I was wrong. when I thought that I had everything under control, about last March, I started to develop a backache. In the middle of nowhere. I thought maybe it was all the heavy squats I do when I exercise in the gym. So I went to SCG, saw my classmate to do an MRI to make sure it's not a slip disc or anything. And that evening, he called me up and said, "We found bone marrow replacement in your spine." I said, "Sorry? What does that mean?" I mean, I know what it means, but I couldn't accept it. I was like, "Are you serious?" I was still running around, going to the gym, you know. But we had more scans the next day, PET scans, positron, and emission scans. They found that actually I have a stage 4 terminal lung cancer. It was like, whoa, where did that come from? It has already spread to the brain, the spine, the liver, and the adrenals. And you know, one moment I was there, totally thinking that I have everything under control. Thinking that I have reached the pinnacle of my life. But the next moment, I have just lost it. This is a CT scan of the lungs itself. If you look at it, every single dot, there is a tumor. Maybe my technician will show on the other side or a picture of what a stage 4 CT scan looks like. With every single dot, there is a tumor. To show what the brains look like, what the heart looks like, or the liver, or the lungs. And in fact, I have tens of thousands of them in my lungs. Technician, I hope you can get one of each, whatever, of the lungs and the brains, to show what it looks like, with tens of thousands of dots of disease. So I was told that even with chemotherapy, I will have about 3 to 4 months to live. Did my life come crashing down? Of course it did. Who wouldn't? I went into depression. Of course, severe depression. And I thought I had everything. See, the irony is that all these things that I have, the success, the trophies, my cars, my house and all, I thought that would bring me happiness, but I was feeling really, really down. Having severe depression, having all these thoughts of my possessions, they brought me no joy. The thought of, I can hug my Ferrari to sleep. No. He didn't have a wife. He didn't have a child. That is more precious than all the wealth and the money in the world. Yes, me too. I, Hajji Roshan Khan, I have a beautiful wife that I can hug in my bed, in my life, in my walk. And I can touch, and beautiful children, and humanity that I serve. I can touch them, and listen to them, and love them. I can't hug my Ferrari. No, it's not going to happen. It brought not a single comfort during my last 10 months. And I thought they were, but they were not true happiness. But it wasn't. What really brought me joy in the last 10 months was interaction with people, my loved ones, my friends, people who genuinely care about me. They laugh and cry with me, and they're able to identify the pain and suffering that I go through. This is why a simple guy like me, Sometimes I show that I do it, but I don't show the people. I might buy a box of apples or candies and sweets, and I go in the streets, and the homeless and the alcoholics and the drug addicts, I will share an apple or a meal or sit and talk to them, because in words, even a beautiful word could be a precious piece of charity according to our Islamic leader and Imam, our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Even words could be charity and love. This is why I go and sit with those people by the border market and I talk to them at times. And I show it on WhatsApp, on Facebook, because to inspire people, not to show off, because I know they do inspire people. That brought joy to me. Going back to the reading, mingling with these people, happiness. None of the things I have, all the possessions, and I thought those were supposed to bring me happiness, but it didn't, because if it did, I wouldn't have felt happy. If it did, I would have felt happy. Think about it when I was feeling most down. Sometimes there is a mistake with the reading, because this was done in the Malaysian language and translated. You know the classical Chinese New Year that is coming up? In the past, what do? Well, I will usually drive my flashy car to do my rounds, visit my relatives, to show it off to my friends. And I thought that was joy, you know? I thought that was really joy. But do you really think my relatives and friends, whom some of them have difficulty trying to make ends meet, that they will truly share the joy with me? Seeing me driving my flashy cars and showing off to them? No, no way. They wouldn't be sharing the joy with me. They were having problems trying to make ends meet, to eat a proper meal, to have some comfort, taking public transport. In fact, I think that I have done, what I have done is more like, making them jealous or envious. Jealous of all I have. In fact, sometimes even hatred. He could have shared, let us Lord, some of that wealth and money that he acquired. Share some. You make some money, give to your staff around you. Give something to the people in the streets. Help them. A few dollars here, a few thousand Guyana dollars here or there, or a few US dollars here or there could make a difference, could help with the transportation, to buy a little something that they may need. Share. Share. The wealth does not belong to us. It belongs to Allah. Yes, you must enjoy it, but never show off. Now we go back to the writer. Those are what we call objects of envy. I have them. I show them off to them, and I feel it can fill my own pride and ego, he says. He wasn't satisfied with what he had. He wanted to feel his pride, his ego. He wanted to just feel good. That didn't bring any joy to these people, to my friends and relatives. And I thought, these things were real joys. Well, let me just share another story with you. You know, when I was about your age, that is graduating students in medical college, maybe in their late 20s, early 30s, I stayed in King Edward the 7th Hall. I had this friend whom I thought was strange. Her name is Jennifer. Listen about Jennifer. You know, today, if I see a worm, strange enough, thank you God, a worm walking under my house. Previously, the instinct was to kill it. But I will put a stick or broom and use my shoe and push it away for it to go its merry way. It has a purpose. It was created for a need. It didn't bother me. So why kill it? So this is how I live today, and I'm seeing it here. Her name is Jennifer. We are still good friends. And as I walk along a path with her, she would, if she sees a snail, she would actually pick up the snail and put it along the grass patch or into some water where it could live. I was like, why do you need to do that? Why dirty your hands? It's just a snail. But I'm telling you and me first, it's a part of God's ecosystem. That snail is important for a purpose it serves. It's important for the medicine man has learned to extract from it today for us. It's a part of the ecosystem that keeps life. Let's respect the snail and every other living creature, including the grass. The truth is, the thought of being crushed to death is real to her. She did not want the snail to be crushed. But to me, it's just a snail. If you can't get it out of the pathway of humans, then you deserve to be crushed. If you couldn't move its way out, crush it. It's part of evolution, isn't it? What an irony. What a fun. Isn't it? There I was being trained as a doctor to be compassionate, to be able to empathize. But I couldn't. As a house officer, I graduated from medical college, posted to the oncology department. When I see how they suffered, that's the cancer department. When I see how they suffered, I see all the pain they went through. I see all the morphine they have to press every few minutes just to relieve their pain. I see they're struggling with their oxygen breathing, their last breath and all. But it was just a job. When I went to clinic every day, to the wards every day, take blood, give the medication. But was the patient real to me? They weren't real to me. It was just a job. I do it. I get out of the ward. I can't wait to go home. I do my own stuff. Was the pain, was the suffering of the patients that they went through real? No. Of course, I know all the medical terms to describe how they feel, all the suffering they went through. But in truth, I did not know how they feel, not until I became a patient. It is until now I truly understand how they feel. And if you ask me, would I have been a different doctor if I were able to relive my life now? I can tell you, yes, I will. Because I truly understand how the patients feel now. Because my brain and my lungs and my adrenals and my liver are overtaken by cancer. And sometimes you have to learn it the hard way. This is why I'm telling my story here today. Even as you start your first year and you embark this journey to become dental surgeons, let me just challenge you on two fronts. Inevitably, all of you here will start to go to private practice. You will start to accumulate wealth. I can guarantee you, just doing implant can bring you thousands of dollars. It's fantastic money. And actually, there's nothing wrong with being successful, with being rich or wealthy. Absolutely nothing wrong. The only trouble is that a lot of us, like myself, can't handle money or wealth. The speaker says. Why do I say that? Because when I started to accumulate wealth, the more I have, the more I want. The more I wanted, the more I became obsessed. Like what I showed you earlier on, all I can was basically get more possessions. society did to us, of what society wants us to be. I became so obsessed that nothing else mattered to me. Patients were just a source of income, and I tried to squeeze every single cent out of these patients. A lot of times we forgot whom we are supposed to be serving. We became so lost. We served nobody else but ourselves as medical doctors. That was what happened to me. Whether it is in the medical, the dental fraternity, I can tell you right now, in the private practice, sometimes we just advise patients or treatment that is not indicated. Goes to prove, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes doctor makes you do tests you don't need to do. I know a hospital in Middle Street that commanded a doctor that was working there to do x-rays, and the doctor said, I don't know. But in my experience, they don't need x-rays. But the hospital is insisting, do x-rays. This is a business. People, sometimes the hospital make you do an MRI. But I met a doctor recently, a Cuban doctor, at Balawan Singh Hospital, who refused to do an MRI until I do the x-ray first, and then he will decide. That was a good doctor. God bless his soul. Gray areas, and even though it's not necessary, we kind of advocate it. Even at this point, I know who are my friends and who genuinely care for me, and who are the ones who try to make money out of me, selling me hope. Doctors tell lies. Doctors tell lies at times to get the people money. Doctors made in New York, my big son, Dr. Roche, suffer, knowing it was allergies, were treating him with bad medicine for as long as he could so he could make the money instead of sending the boy, my son, Dr. Roshan Khan, to an allergist, was a medical staff, ordinary staff, a clerk that saw him coughing as a child, and he could have died in a month or two. And my son, Dr. Rush, who does so much for the world, could have been a dead boy because of dishonest doctors. Don't always trust doctors. His own friends are trying to make money out of him, giving him false hope, knowing that he is going to die. Worse, I can tell you over the last 2 years, we badmouth our fellow colleagues, our fellow competitors in the industry. It happens in life. You know how many people would like to see me even at this age dead? You know, people try to destroy me in my security industry, conspiracies, people in government, even people in the current government, not the government, but some people in the current government with power try to wipe my business out. Can I smile at them? Because I know God is the master. No matter what you do to me, you can never destroy me unless God permits it. We have no qualms about it, so if we can put them down to give ourselves an advantage, we do it. But talk about other people so you can get up. And that's happening right now, medical, dental, everywhere he says he's damn right. My challenge to you is not to lose that moral compass, not to destroy your conscience. I learned it the hard way. I hope you don't ever have to learn it the way I did. Secondly, a lot of us, and I will appeal to the TV station and the technician, and I will call them later on to ask that I be allowed a few minutes more, because I can't stop and do a part 1 and part 2. The momentum is here. I have less than a minute, but I will take an extra 5 minutes. Secondly, a lot of us start to get numb to our patients and we start to practice. Whether it is the government hospitals or private practice, I can tell you when I was in the hospital with stacks of patient folders, I can't wait to get rid of those folders as soon as possible. I can't wait to get patients out of my consultation room as soon as possible, because there is just so many, and that's a reality. But you know, there are some doctors who dedicate themselves to this, and God bless their soul, that they accept that as a destiny to serve humanity. Because it becomes a job, a very routine job, And this is just a part of it. Do I really know how the patient feels back then? No, I don't. The fears and anxiety and all? No. Do I really understand what they're going through? I don't. Not until when this happened to me. And I think that is one of the biggest flaws in our medical system. We are being trained to be healthcare providers, professionals, and all, and yet we don't know how exactly the patient feels. I'm not asking you to get involved emotionally. I don't think that is professional, but do eventually make a real effort to understand their pain and all. Most of us won't. Alright? Most of us, he's talking about the fellow doctors. So don't look at the patient as a source of wealth. So don't lose it. My challenge to you is to always be able to put yourself in your patient's shoes. Because the pain, the anxiety, the fear are real. Even though it's not real to you, it's real to them. So don't lose it. And you know, right now, I'm in the midst of my 5th cycle of my chemotherapy. I can tell you, it's a terrible thing. Chemotherapy is one of those things you don't wish even your enemies to go through, because it's just suffering, lousy feeling, throwing out. You don't even know if you can retain your meals or not in your body. Terrible feeling. And even with whatever little energy now I have, I try to reach out to other cancer patients, because I truly understand what pain and suffering is like. But it's kind of little too late and too little. You guys have a bright future ahead of you with all the resources and energy. So I'm going to challenge you to go beyond your immediate patients, to understand that there are people out there who are truly in pain and truly in hardship. You know, this is why I like the Cuban doctors. So there are times in the past when we went on medical outreaches through the Guyana Islamic Forum for Education, Peace and Religious Solidarity, and when we ask the Cuban doctors, they will find medicines, they will go with us, they will do free circumcision. I tell you, the Cuban doctors in Guyana are a great boon and a blessing to our country and our people. Don't get the idea that only poor people suffer. It's not true. A lot of these poor people do not have much in the first place, and so they are easily contented. For all you know, they are happier than you and me. But there are out there people who are suffering mentally, physically, hardship, emotionally, financially, and so on and so forth. And they are real. We choose to ignore them. We don't want to know that they exist. So do think about it, alright? Even as you go on to become professionals and dental surgeons and all, that you can reach out to these people who are in need. Whatever you do can make a large difference to them. I'm now at the receiving end, so I know how it feels. Someone who genuinely cares for you, encourage and all. It makes a lot of difference to me. That's what happens after treatment. I had a treatment recently, but I will leave this for another day and another time. A lot of things happened along the way. That's why I'm still able to talk to you today. I will just end with this quote. It's from the book called Tuesdays with Morris. And some of you may have read it. Everyone knows that they are going to die. Every one of us knows that we are going to die. The truth is, none of us believe it, because if we did, we will do things differently. When I faced death, when I had to, I stripped myself of all my stuff totally, and I focus on what is essential. The irony is that a lot of times, only when we learn how to die, then we learn how to live. You all write that down. I want to put that on my wall, on my life, on my Facebook, on my internet, on my WhatsApp. The irony is that a lot of times only when we learn how to die, that is when we learn how to live. I know it sounds very morbid for this morning, he's saying to his students, but it's truth. This is what I'm going through. Don't let society tell you how to live. Don't let the media tell you what you're supposed to do. Those things happened to me. I led this life, and I led this life thinking that these are going to bring me happiness. I hope that you will think about it and decide for yourself how you want to live your own life, not according to what other people tell you to do. And you have to decide whether you want to serve yourself, whether you're going to make a difference in somebody else's life. Because true happiness doesn't come from serving yourself. I thought it was, but it didn't turn out that way. With that, I thank you. If you have any questions you have for me, please ask as he is addressing his students and coming to an end. Beloved divine brothers and sisters, on this Electric Mosque presentation of teachings of Islam, I took a different tangent, brought you a great wisdom, and this is good. This is Islam. Education, knowledge, history, wisdom. La ilaha illallah. You guys must want to join me, man. Come closer and let me hear your voices. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. Muhammadur Rasulullah. God, Khuda Hafez, dearest, most beloved, divine brothers and sisters.